Hi, Russ Provost here. This is part two of RP's RPR, Russ Provost Radical Prostate Removal Series. Just to give you a little background, this is part two of it. Last time I left you, the doctor had his finger up my butt and for a long time. So here's what happened next. He says, okay, let's go, let's have a second PSA. So mine was at 4. He says sometimes it can be, it could go down a second time. So he said, abstain from sex. Don't do anything like that for about a week. Have the PSA and then go back again. So I went back again, did what he said. Results came back, and yeah, it had gone down from 4 to like about 3.6, but he still didn't like the way everything felt. So he wanted to do further tests, which were not able at my local hospital here in Keene, New Hampshire. So all my specialists are down at Brigham and Women's in Boston, my cardiologist, my orthopedic guy, and it's easy for me to get to from where I live in southern New Hampshire. So I made a few calls. I got in right away to see the urologist there. He looked at my records. He did his little exam. Then he sent me off that same day to have an MRI done. Had the MRI done, and then he calls me back and says, okay, we really need to do a biopsy. So we scheduled the next week to have a biopsy done. I never had had one, so didn't really know what to expect. I figured it would, might have been sort of like a colonoscopy. You go in, they put an IV in you, and you sort of like go to sleep, forget about everything, and then you wake up and you go home. Because I've had about 4 or 5 of those. Anyway, so I go in there, say, get onto the table, take your pants off, put your knees up. Then they stick a needle up there, just a little needle to numb something. And then he begins the procedure, which they put some kind of like ultrasound thing up your butt and then begins to take 13 individual biopsy samples. And, I guess this is the easiest way to describe it. Imagine that for 13 times in a row, you're sitting on this table, and he sticks this thing up your butt. And it feels like when someone would take an elastic band and snap it against either your nipple or the end of your dick. And this is 13 times in a row where they take these samples. It actually sounds like a staple gun, goes bang every time. Pulls the sample out, does this 13 times in a row, says, thank you, get dressed, go home, and we'll call you with the results. So I did all that, waited about, I guess that one was about 2 weeks. Came back, and out of the 13 biopsy samples he got, 11 were cancerous. So that's sort of like limited my options of which way I was going to go. There's a watchful waiting option where you just sort of like sit around, wait to see if it gets really bad, and then you go do something, or maybe you could do seeds or chemo or radiation or removal. And being an active person, I wanted it out as soon as possible. And he said he agreed with me. He thought it was all self-contained and that I should have it removed as soon as possible. So he scheduled me for the first available opening for having a radical robotic prostatectomy, hard word to say, done at Brigham and Women's Faulkner Hospital in Boston. Unfortunately, it was 3 months away, which at the beginning I was actually very concerned. 3 months sounded like a really long time, which it was, but it gave me a lot of time to do a little research, contemplation, and some other things to get myself ready for the operation. So, that being said, I'm going to sign off for today. By the way, when I usually wear like a different little hat or something like that, I wanted to mention that in the first episode, the hat I had on, I had just gotten for Christmas, and it had the tag still on it. Sorry about that. Tag's rough, buffers on. Have a good day. Bye-bye.